All right, yeah, we've got Darren's Zenith 601 come in for some maintenance work. Things are a little bit loose here and a bit of a tidy up, but all in all, the aeroplane's in really good condition. It's had the LCH on it for, I don't know, a good while now, and everything's going really well. We need to replace a couple of EGTs or CHTs. I'll have a look at his list there, but it was interesting. Everything on the LCH and the throttle body in there, you can see he's got his TBI in there. It's all going really well. But I took the opportunity while the plane was here to remove his smart pump and modify it to become what we would call a dumb pump. And some people in the past have second guessed, you know, one person said to me recently, oh yeah, that's just an eBay and you can just buy those controllers. No, that's not what I'm doing at all. What I'm actually doing is I'm taking the pump apart and I'm removing their microprocessor, and I'm putting in my own Arduino microprocessor, an Arduino Nano, and I'm also putting an ESC, an electronic speed controller, in there as well, digital, and it's all being programmed so that it does certain things. And the 3 wires here, they could go to a pot, which allows me to control the speed of the impeller, which is a nice feature. But the big advantage, what I'm doing is I'm taking away this pump's, one of the features of this pump, which I think is a negative, is that if the water level gets low, it has a propensity to not work, or it refuses to work, particularly on startup. And to me, that's potentially problematic, because we don't want a pump that stops just because it's low on water. I'm happy for the pump to burn out in the absence of water if that indeed were to happen, but we just don't want the pump stopping. So that's the motivation for going from what I would consider a smart pump to a dumb pump. Now, these pumps have been working fantastically, but they do have that feature. If you get low on water, they can refuse to start. It's some sort of built-in preservation or safety feature. Well, I've completely removed that. This pump will run on the bench without water now, which I think is a good thing. Now, there's a second anomaly that I've addressed as well, and that is if you go to a dumb pump conversion, which is what I've done here, there is a situation, and also with the smart pump as well, both situations, in that when you crank the engine, if the battery's a little bit dull and you fire the system up, this comes on with the master switch, and then you crank the engine, the voltage drop from the high current of the starter motor can see this have a glitch, in that it doesn't fully power down, but it powers down enough through the voltage drop for it to stop working. And so then what happens is the engine starts running, and the pump's not running because it needs a reset. So again, you turn the master on, the pump starts running, you crank the engine, the voltage drop brings the voltage down, and then it causes the electronics in the pump to have a bit of a hissy fit. I've seen it in other situations as well with other electronic devices. So what I've done here with Darren's is it's not only converted to a dumb pump, so it fires up regardless of the status of the water, but in the case of a voltage drop, you've got a pump reset here. So after you've started the engine, if you suspect that your pump isn't running, you can just simply hit that button there, and it open circuits the pump relay momentarily, and it fires up again, which is really good. To me, that's a really good setup, because if your pump quits after startup and you don't know it because of a loud engine, you'd be waiting for temperatures to give you an indication of that your pump's not running, and that's not optimal. So here we've got a situation where if you suspect that the pump's not running because the temperatures are coming up, you can simply hit the reset button in flight, even in flight, and you're off and running. I'll demonstrate that. Okay, so turn his master switch on. Right, the pump will start running in a minute. In a few seconds, there it goes. Now you can see I've got the pot here. That's the speed control for the pump. And if I hit this button here, it opens the relay, and then when I let it go, it resets and the pump will restart. And that could be done at any stage during the operation of the aircraft. And there she goes. So this pump now is running, and it doesn't care about water, and you've got full control. There's the relay, the normally closed relay that's being momentarily opened. And there's the pump. All good. So I think that's a really good feature. And the other thing I've done, added to the plane, is I put an overflow bottle. Now on some installations I hadn't put an overflow bottle, but in hindsight it should have one, because the overflow bottle isn't just designed to catch, you know, fluids that's overflowing. It's more important feature is it's designed to allow water to be drawn back in. So as these systems naturally expand, even if they're not overheating, they'll naturally expand and push water out of the system. That water will then go into that water will go overboard if you haven't got an overflow bottle, and then eventually when it contracts, it'll suck air in, and eventually over time you're going to lose water. And with a pump that's critical on water levels, you've got issues, right? That could be a problem. So what I've done here is I've got the radiator cap now flowing to the water bottle, and that hose there, that red hose there, that goes all the way to the bottom of the overflow bottle. So what happens is, as the system expands, the water gets pushed out hydraulically, let's say, under pressure as well, but more through expansion than overheating. And then when it contracts and cools down, it'll draw water, coolant, back from this bottle. So it'll be pushing air out. Now those air that gets pushed out will percolate and bubble in that bottle and come out the overflow, which is right at the top here. But this hose here on the other side, that goes right to the bottom. This one doesn't. This is just in the top there. And so that pushes the air out, and this one will suck water back. So you're pushing air out, but only able to suck water back. It's definitely the way to go. So I won't not fit a coolant bottle to an installation again moving forwards, just for that very reason. Anyway, now what else, Darren? While I've got you here, we've got your spats all sorted out. They're being done. So they're nearly fitted. So they're ready to go. So yeah, that's it. Looking good.